WADR.
WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar, 7 o'clock in Lagos. Good evening and welcome to Newslink here on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world at wadr.org. Here are the top stories. France announces support to ECOWAS and Benin in fueling Sunday school attempt as former President Boni Yaya voices concern.
Even while the situation was still confused, I authorized the Democratic Party to issue a statement condemning this attempted armed siege of power.
Military junta in Guinea-Bissau adopts political charter for a one-year transition. Residents of Ghana's Bono region praised WADR's current affairs program for boosting citizens' participation in democratic processes.
They always say that women goes in for position, a sex for position. No, it's not that. If you involve yourself into something and do it well, you'll reach your goal. So the program has helped me.
Nigerian Air Force denies violation, says aircraft landing in Burkina Faso was precautionary. Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Augustine Coley with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast this evening. We begin in Benin, where the attempted coup has reignited debate over France's pervasive presence in the West African region. Paris says it played a significant role in fueling last Sunday's military takeover attempt in Benin. This has sparked a fresh controversy over the boundaries France should not cross in its cooperation within African states. More details with Abdullahi Hassan.
2 days after the attempted coup against President Patrice Talon, Beninese authorities expressed gratitude to ECOWAS and Nigeria, which intervened at their request to help safeguard constitutional order. The announcement was made on Monday during an extraordinary cabinet meeting. On Tuesday, France publicly underscored its role in the operations that helped fuel the coup. Paris said it had supported Benin's loyalist forces against the putschists, emphasizing that the assistance was provided at the request of the Beninese government. The support included surveillance, monitoring and logistical aid to Benin's armed forces, though no additional details were disclosed. President Emmanuel Macron coordinated efforts and intelligence sharing with regional leaders, one of his advisors told AFP. He reportedly held talks with President Patrice Talon, the target of the attempted overthrow, as well as with the presidents of Nigeria and Sierra Leone, the two countries that led ECOWAS's intervention in Benin on Sunday. France's involvement has triggered a wave of reactions. While some applaud its collaboration with ECOWAS in preventing another coup in West Africa, others question whether Paris is once again overstepping in its engagement with African states.
Abdullahi Hassan fight that report. Meanwhile, former President of Benin, Boni Yaya, has strongly condemned the failed coup attempt, describing it as a bloody and despicable attack on the Republic. In a statement, he expressed solidarity with the victims, praised the defense and security forces, and called on citizens to remain calm and uphold peace and democracy. Here is the former President Boni Yaya speaking.
Even while the situation was still confused, I authorized the Democratic Party to issue a statement condemning this attempted armed siege of power. I then sent a personal message to party President Talon, expressing my solidarity with the bereaved republic, himself and his family. For 10 years, the Lord has granted me the grace to lead this country in peace, tranquility, and the strengthening of our republican values. My commitment to democratic values is more than just experience. It is a conviction ingrained in my very being. The transfer of state power, according to my beliefs, adheres to a single cardinal and unconditional principle, that of the youth, that of the people, that of free, inclusive, transparent elections. I therefore condemn in the strongest possible terms and with unwavering resolve this bloody and despicable attack that our country experienced on Sunday, December 7. I would like, with patriotic gratitude, to thank our defense and security forces who fought a good fight. I would like to commend their selflessness and courage. To all those who have lost loved ones, I bow before the memory of these martyrs, and I take this opportunity to offer my sincere condolences to all these grieving families. I call upon our people to remain calm and serene. Peace, more than just a word, must be our constant companion at all times and in all places.
Former President of Benin, Boni Yayi, there speaking. In Guinea-Bissau, the military authority has adopted a one-year political transitional charter. In the preamble to the charter fight with the Supreme Court, the military officials once again justified their seizure of power on November 26. They cite the discovery of a plan to destabilize the country, allegedly supported by criminal networks linked to drug trafficking. According to the new document, the transition will be led by 4 bodies. These include the President of the Transitional Republic, the High Military Command as the supreme body for political guardians, a 65-member National Transitional Council exercising legislative power, and the transitional government headed by a prime minister. Meanwhile, the transitional period is set at 12 months, with elections to be held at least 90 days after the date is set. The charter also prohibits the new authorities from participating in elections after the one-year transitional period.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Shifting to the Sahel, the Confederation of Sahel States, AES, has accused Nigeria of violating its airspace. The allegation follows the forced landing of a Nigerian military aircraft in Bobojolaso, western Burkina Faso. In a statement broadcast on public television across the 3 Central Sahel countries, AES authorities said the Nigerian Air Force plane was compelled to make an emergency landing on Monday after experiencing an incident while flying through Burkinabe airspace without authorization. AES officials have launched an investigation and say they are tightening security measures while remaining on high alert. In a swift response, the Nigerian Air Force stated that the landing of its C-130 aircraft in Burkina Faso was precautionary and followed proper procedures. According to Air Commando Ehiman Ajodami, Director of Public Relations and Information at NAF Headquarters, the aircraft diverted due to a technical concern while en route to Portugal. Although some reports claim that Burkinabe authorities had detained 11 crew members for violating airspace regulations, Air Commando Ajodami said all NAF personnel are safe and are being treated courteously by the host country. Still in the Central Sahel region, the National Transitional Council of Mali has approved the second part of the 2026 finance bill, which allocates more than 3.5 trillion CFA francs for expenditures in the upcoming year. This amount significantly exceeds state revenues. The finance bill prioritizes sectors such as security, education, health, among others. The estimated deficit to be covered is 520 billion CFA francs, which is 10% lower than in 2025. Despite the country's challenging economic situation, Mali's Minister of Economy and Finance, Alusunin Sanon, expressed optimism about the bill's approval, calling the results positive.
The
debt to GDP ratio stands at 42.3% compared to 42.4% in 2025. Therefore, based on these 3 criteria, Mali meets the 3 primary convergence criteria of the UMOA. This budget is geared towards sovereignty and economic development. The key point is the operational budgets, of which there are 92, compared to only 29 pilot programs. We have 319 acquisitions, 1,981 of which are for the operational program. We have 439 objectives to achieve based on 1,048 indicators. 718 relate to the operational budgets.
Mali's Minister of Economy and Finance, Alusinin Sanon. With this adoption, the Malian government hopes to implement its public policies for the 2026 fiscal year and aims to prioritize its domestic resources. Elsewhere in Nigeria, families received significant relief after 100 adopted school children were released on Monday. However, important questions remain unanswered, particularly regarding how the children were freed. Their release occurred just days after National Security Advisor Nuhul Ribadu visited the school, reassuring parents that their children would return home safely. WADR's Usma Umar reports from Abuja.
There is a sense of relief and gratitude following the latest rescue operation. However, there is still no clarity on how 100 abducted pupils from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri regained their freedom. These children were among more than 300 students and teachers who were seized on November 21, 2025, when gunmen stormed the school at dawn. 50 children managed to escape in the hours following the attack, while the remaining pupils were taken deep into the forests. Since that day, the families have lived in a state of hope mixed with fear. Last week, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu visited the school to meet with anxious parents, promising them that their children would return home. On Monday, Ribadu handed over the rescued students to Niger State Governor Mohammed Bago at the government house in Minna.
We wish to recover the remaining students that are still in captivity, and by the grace of God, in a very short time from now, we're going to record their mission. I want to reassure parents and guardians of these children that they will be safely delivered to them very, very soon.
Despite their release, critical details about the rescue remain unclear. Authorities have not explained how the children were rescued or whether any kidnappers were arrested. No group has claimed responsibility for the kidnapping, although residents blamed bandits who target schools and travelers for ransom. The Papiri abduction is one of several recent mass kidnappings in Nigeria's troubled northern region. Just days earlier, 25 students were kidnapped in Kebbi State, and in Kwara, 38 church worshippers were also abducted but have since been freed. President Tinubu had vowed to continue efforts until every hostage is rescued. However, Nigerian officials rarely discuss ransom payments, and arrests are uncommon. For many parents in Niger State, the return of their children is a blessing, yet the fear of another attack lingers. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
In Ghana, the minority in parliament is calling for an immediate reversal of the newly announced utility tariff increases by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Beginning next year, consumers are expected to pay 15.9% more for water and 9.8% more for electricity. The PURC says the adjustments are part of its scheduled 5-year major review. However, addressing journalists in Parliament, MP minority described the increases as punitive and unjustified, warning that they will further worsen the economic hardship facing Ghanaians. The WADR's Accra correspondent Nadi Detete reports.
When they are taking decisions, they involve the women. And recently, our MC is a woman. So she's an example of involvement of women.
These minority groups, most of the time, their rights are suppressed. But with this educative program, these people get educated.
These are some residents of Wenchi in Ghana's Bono region sharing testimonies about the impact of WDR's current affairs program, Citizens Hour.
When they say democracy, it's not necessarily insult whatsoever. I've learned that the concept democracy in our dialect, in our local dialect, the best way to see the meaning is Duduamamu, that's the government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Allowing women to participate or taking decisions involving women, it has helped me a lot. They always say that women goes in for position, a sex for position. No, it's not that. If you involve yourself into something and do it well, really you'll reach your goal. So the program has helped me a lot.
This program inspired me so much. So I know what to do from the program that we receive every Saturday to serve as good citizens of Ghana.
It has made us to know the citizens, their role and their duties in democratic affairs, and the elected officials, what they should do and what they shouldn't do in terms of democracy and elections.
With support from the National Endowment for Democracy, NED, the program, which aired for 12 months, aimed to promote democracy, active citizen participation, good governance, and the inclusion of youth, women, and persons with disabilities in governance and community development. Adu Ajako Pisang, Chief Executive Officer of Reals FM in Wenchi, tells WDR that the rebroadcast of each episode in local languages has created a meaningful impact in the community.
The superb way you select your resource persons to do the program is very good, because we are getting a very rich program because we have very good resource persons who are handling the program.
For Kessie Ajay Kufo, a visually impaired teacher and historian at the Wenchi Methodist Senior High School, Citizens Hour strengthened his understanding of governance, enabling him to better educate his students.
Citizens Hour is a program that I really like it and I cherish it a lot.
Because most of the time, current issues in West Africa, when I listen to it, I get more information to disseminate to my people in class. So it is helping me a lot.
At a time when the sub-region continues to grapple with military takeovers and a decline in democratic principles, Citizens Hour remains crucial in strengthening citizenship and championing the cause of good governance.
Imo added with a series on the impact of WADR's Citizens Hour program on communities in Ghana. You are still listening to Newslink here on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of our top stories. France announces support to ECOWAS and Benin in fueling Sunday school attempt as former President Boni Yaye voices concern. Military junta in Guinea-Bissau adopts a political charter for a one-year transition. Residents of Ghana's Bono region praise WADR's current affairs program for boosting citizens' participation in democratic processes. Nigerian Air Force denies violation, says aircraft landing in Burkina Faso was precautionary. Still ahead in the news, we have guest interview and the sports news. So please stay with us.
West Africa Democracy Radio. It's you speaking.
Many thanks for being with us. As a reminder, we are streaming live on YouTube at WADR and on Facebook, WADR English Service. Let's travel to the Gambia, where members of parliament are expressing the need for significant changes to the country's citizenship law. They are raising concerns that thousands of long-term residents, many of whom were born and raised in the Gambia, remain stateless. Popular attention has been directed towards Ghana Town in Brufut, where generations of families have lived without a recognized nationality. A recent assessment shows that most residents of the town lack legal documentation, even though they consider the Gambia their only home. WADR's Banjul correspondent Sandona Mendy has the rest of the details.
Ghana Town, located in the West Coast region of the Gambia, was founded in the late 1950s by Ghanaian fishermen. Their families have lived in the Gambia for decades, with many children born and raised on Gambian soil. However, most residents still lack a legal identity. Gambian lawmakers have criticized successive governments for overlooking this community, accusing authorities of issuing voter cards during elections while failing to provide proper identity documents for the inhabitants. Here are reactions from some lawmakers.
These people were denied national ID cards. They were denied voter ID cards, but yet they were issued voters cards.
If I have seen in the court that these citizens, there are evidence of applications, then we, the Parliament, could have taken a bold step to say why those applications were denied. Now, if you look at the Children's Act of 2005 as well, it's not actually helping the children that are born by these stateless people in this country.
We should ask ourselves, are the laws barring them completely from becoming citizens?
Meanwhile, a joint assessment conducted by the Gambia Commission for Refugees, GAFNA, and the UNHCR Senegal office revealed that 87% of residents surveyed have no documentation from any country. Additionally, 98.9% stated that the Gambia is the only place they consider home. According to the 1997 Constitution, a child born in the Gambia is considered a Gambian citizen only if at least one parent is a citizen. The rule has trapped many families in a cycle of statelessness. Although the Gambia has signed international agreements aimed at reducing statelessness, it has not established a national system to identify or naturalize individuals without nationality. As Parliament discusses potential reforms, residents of Ghana Town are hopeful that the new laws will finally provide them with the recognition and security they have sought for decades. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I am Sangdana Mendy, reporting from Banjul.
For matters of business and economy, we turn our attention to Liberia, where a national conference is currently taking place in the capital, Monrovia. The event aims to address key challenges and unlock the vast potential of small and medium enterprises. WADR's correspondent Ibrahim Parker reports that business experts and local entrepreneurs view this gathering as a crucial platform for driving Liberia's economic growth, job creation, and overall prosperity.
The conference highlights a renewed commitment to empowering local businesses and fostering a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship throughout the nation. During the opening ceremony, Liberia's Minister of State, Samuel Stikwa, urged entrepreneurs to overcome the stigma associated with not repaying loans and emphasized the importance of building trust with financial institutions to secure larger funding opportunities.
Liberian entrepreneurs wrongfully have this stigma of not paying the banks back, and so it makes it more difficult for you to gain access to the bigger finances that you need if you are to make yourself marketable. It is my hope that Liberian entrepreneurs will shake this image of not having enough confidence in themselves.
He acknowledged the government initiatives like small grants, but stated that true success comes from taking bold steps and having self-confidence. Additionally, Commerce Minister Martelin Dagose emphasized that the conference serves as a renewed platform for dialogue and collaboration, noting its return after an 80-year break.
Our entrepreneurs spread across the country. We celebrate youth intervention, promoted environmental stewardship, and advanced agriculture commercialization. This conference has been renewed as a platform for dialogue, innovation, and collaboration.
Over 250 small and medium enterprises, particularly those led by women, youth, and persons living with disabilities, are participating in this three-day conference, reflecting the nation's commitment to inclusive economic growth. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
Politics, analyses on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
In our guest interview this evening, we focus on some diplomatic issues as the Confederation of Sahel States, AES, has accused Nigeria of violating its airspace following the emergency landing of a Nigerian military aircraft in Bobo-Dioulasso, western Burkina Faso. The AES says the Nigerian Air Force aircraft entered Burkinabe airspace without authorization and has announced an investigation while placing its security forces on high alert. However, the Nigerian Air Force insists the landing was purely precautionary and caused by a technical issue while the aircraft was en route to Portugal. Speaking to WADR Nigerian security analyst, Dr. Maji Peters described the incident as a sensitive regional security matter, urging calm cooperation and transparent communication between Nigeria and the AES.
You know, in African adage, they say because there's a crack in the wall, that's why the lizard could creep in. We all know there is tension in the sub-region. especially with the coups that ECOWAS refused to endorse, AU did their own, and the pulling out of Niger, Mali, Burkina from the ECOWAS organization. So it just shows that there's already a tension. And then with what happened in the Republic of Benin, and then having these emergencies, they could say it's an orchestrated plan. So nobody is going to take anything for granted. Naturally, if there is no crack, there is no tension, there is no issue around relationship, that is what they will have been happy that they have been able to do. But with the tension that is on the ground, especially in West Africa, everything that any country does now is suspect. And I don't blame them for doing that. But at the end of it all, there's going to be a lot of diplomatic engagement and diplomatic maneuvers, and nothing is going to happen. It's going to escalate. It's not going to go beyond this. This is just to show a check that we need to be respected. Our sovereignty needs to be put into consideration. It's no longer business as usual. We're no longer members of the same intergovernmental organization. We have pulled out and we are looked at as a bloc that have rights, that have responsibilities, that have duties, that need respect. So I think basically that's what's happening, but it will not go beyond that.
Well, sir, what is supposed to be the official procedure in the event of an in-flight incident like what they experienced?
No, naturally you're supposed to have reached out, and then, there are ways you do, because if you have an aviation agreement, there is a way you reach out and then they will make clearance for you and ask you to land, because you have to communicate with the radar to ensure that even your landing does not put the life of people on the ground in danger. But then, if that is not there, most of these things need to be done. But in cases of emergency, especially when there are other things, even after it has landed there, what you need to do thereafter, getting in touch with them, explaining the situation that has happened, giving them justification for why you have done what you have done, and they will empathize with you. So you don't just land and say it was an emergency or something. There are administrative procedures that need to happen even in there's existing relationship. Because if that doesn't happen, people could take advantage of it, and other people could just land and say it's an emergency and they are doing X, Y, Z. So some of those things are just for security checks, and they are for respect of the rights and laws of sovereign nations.
Dr. Magic Peters is a Nigerian security analyst. And in the world of sports, Ghana's midfielder Mohamed Kudu says that the Black Stars are fully aware of the quality of the England national team ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The former Ajax playmaker, now in his third season in English Premier League, said Ghana understands the strength of the Thomas Tuchel side and is preparing mentally for the tough challenge. Ghana has been thrown in Group L alongside England, Croatia and Panama, with the Black Stars scheduled to face England on June 27 in Boston. Reacting to the draw, the Tottenham Hotspur midfielder said Ghana respects England's quality but will be ready for the big clash at next year's tournament. Meanwhile, in Europe, the UEFA Champions League games are underway so far with 41 minutes gone. Bayern Munich and Sporting CP are settling gradually with 0 at peace. Meanwhile, tonight at 8 p.m. AS Monaco will welcome Galatasaray. Atalanta will take on Chelsea. Barcelona will welcome entering Frankfurt. Inter Milan takes on Liverpool. Atletico Madrid will play PSV Eindhoven. Tottenham welcomes Slavia Prague. And Union Saint-Galaxy will take on Marseille from France. And those are the latest in the world of sports. With that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Falilu So and Mustafa Sek for the technical support. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X, Instagram at WADR English, on Facebook, WADR English Service. I am Augustine Cully. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, New Me FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, FM, Riverside County. Wakat FM Radio, Baga, Liberia. Radio Gulf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your